Morning, boys and girls. Just here at the beautiful Wylam, just passing the train tracks now. Gorgeous kind of early autumn day. So it's the 14th of September, day after my sister's birthday. And today I'm going to do about 12-13 miles, just easy. So just kind of putting you in, just crossing the bridge here, quite heavy, high waters after quite a lot of rain. So anyway, I'm going to put you in the loop in terms of how my training is going. So I've got the Yorkshire Marathon, which is in 5 weeks today, and being ill, got COVID about 3 weeks ago, and in Kenya, some kind of tropical virus. Yesterday I did about 18 miles. With 6 miles at marathon pace, and because don't have any upcoming events, obviously got 1:29:22 last week, last Sunday in the Great North Run. What I've decided to do is something a bit different, really. So I'm going to keep you updated on my sub 3 hour marathon training for Yorkshire in 5 weeks. And because I'm a sociology teacher, I'm going to tell you a little bit about sociology. And today it's going to be the life and works of the functionalist and founder of functionalism and founder of sociology, Emile Durkheim. So, just joining the 72, the Hadrian's Wall cycle route. Beautiful kind of old railway track line, which now is a trail for runners and cyclists. And we're going to head to George Stevenson's cottage for a reason. Right, so just done a bit of a short warm-up walk, really. I'm going to start my run here. Just at the George Stevenson's birthplace. So George Stevenson was born in this house, this amazing house here, on the 9th of June 1781. And a little bit about George Stevenson and how he comes into today's video, really. George Stevenson was one of the early pioneers of rail transport in the early 1800s, I would say. And that was a key component or a key part of the Industrial Revolution, which, as we should know, Industrial Revolution was the shift from kind of manual manufacturing to more machine-based labour. And Emile Durkheim kind of used Industrial Revolution as a turning point, really. And what he said that it was a shift from a society where it involved kind of togetherness, a high level of collective conscience or togetherness, where people worked in the same kind of areas. So maybe like on farming land, so all families would work on, in a similar job, such as on a farm. And he said that this involved mechanical solidarity. And he said that the shift in the kind of the 1800s, which was when he lived, was to a society which became a lot more individual. And this individual society, he said, involved complex division of labour, so many different types of jobs. And also, he said, involved something called organic solidarity. So, just setting off, going to set my timer, just leaving George Stevenson's house here. So, Emile Durkheim was born in 1858 on the 15th of April. His parents, called Melanie and Moyes, hopefully pronounced that right, were both very religious. In fact, his parents, Durkheim's parents and grandfathers on the male side, were rabbis or kind of Jewish. Durkheim decided he went to Rabbi Nickel school for the first few years of his life, and then decided to go down the secular or non-religious route. So Emile had 4 siblings. He married in 1887 someone called Louise Dreyfus. Durkheim had 2 children, one called André and the other one called Marie. Now, any kind of talk about Durkheim wouldn't be right without mentioning Auguste Comte. So Auguste Comte had a massive influence on Durkheim. In fact, he was Durkheim's teacher. And what Comte, I think, was actually the founder of sociology. What Comte believed was that you could study society in a scientific way. And he says that science was positive for society, and he called this approach positivism. So he believed that, as I said before, society was made up of social facts like religion, early media, family, government, etc. And you could study these objectively in a quantitative or a numerical way. And that was the scientific aspect of sociology. And that's the argument for why sociology should be a science. Can you just see this? Absolutely gorgeous. The 72 Hadrian's Wall route between Wylam and Hexham. And oh, this is such a good excuse just to get into nature, really. I'll show you the Tyne in a bit. So just while I let you enjoy the Tyne and hopefully not fall in, I'm going to tell you a few key terms. So first one, social solidarity is the bond that holds society together, or a group of together, that Durkheim came up with. Gives us a shared sense of kind of unity and purpose, a sense of belonging, let's say. And this is done through shared norms and values. So a norm is like acceptable behaviour, such as respect. A value is something seen as important within society. And education, I'll be teaching tomorrow with my Year 12 set, is gives you a sense of social solidarity through identity to a school, a sense of belonging with your classmates, clubs that are run, etc. Now, if there isn't this kind of shared sense of norms and values, just losing something here, then this could lead to anomie in society, which is a sense of normlessness, which could lead to kind of chaos and disorder within society. Durkheim also talked about the importance of socialization, so how we learn these norms or acceptable behaviour and values, so things that are important to us, such as having a good family life, maybe getting married, having children and being successful in life. And this is done through things like the family, education, work, religion, etc. Okay, so just making my way up this steep bank from the river, and I literally have about an hour and 10 minutes to get about 10 miles done, so I'm going to have to lock in. I'll see you in Hexham. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the first book Durkheim wrote, which was called The Division of Labour in Society, written in about 1893, I think. Hopefully you got that right. Just had to skip an 80s classic, but thankfully got St Elmo's Fire on now. Anyway, Division of Labour in Society is about changes in society from kind of pre-industrial society before 1700, where everything was more kind of strength, collective conscience, I mentioned before, mechanical solidarity, and then post-industrial, more complex division of labour, so range of jobs, more individualistic, involving organic solidarity. Okay, so Carly Simon, You're So Vain, live version, come on, love this song, underrated film in my way. So, another book that Durkheim wrote, which I teach about, is Le Religion, 1897, and what Durkheim did was he studied the suicide rates of Protestant Christians and Roman Catholic Christians, so Protestants more in kind of Scandinavia, UK I guess, and then Catholic kind of Spain, France, Portugal, Italy, etc. And what he concluded, using the comparative method, so like a thought experiment, was that Protestants had a higher suicide rate because they have less collective conscience or togetherness, whereas Catholics are the opposite. And this collective conscience that Catholics have, which lowers their suicide rate, things such as, ceremonies, mass every Sunday, stronger sense of kind of community, whereas Protestants like this, and this also led to kind of like higher suicide. one of the problems, I guess, with this is that Protestant countries, obviously, during the autumn, winter months, far north in Europe, and, you know, darker days and stuff like that. But yeah, great comparison. So just got a bit of a Michael Jackson Beat It going on here in the background. So Durkheim wrote the book Elementary Forms of Religious Life, 1912, and what he did was he studied a clan in Northern Australia, an Aborigine clan called the Arunta clan. And what he did was he tried to observe why their society was so strong. And the main takeaway was they had a giant symbol called the totem pole. And this was a few meters high, made up of animals, spirits, forest spirits, things like that. And each time they had a big event, be it a funeral, marriage, birth, they would all gather together in front of this. And what Durkheim said was, he says this strengthened their collective consciousness or a sense of togetherness. And it was almost like they were worshipping together, they were worshipping society when they were sat together in front of this totem pole doing ceremony. Oh yeah, you're right. Right, guy walking his dog there. Hopefully you can see. So, I had to change the pace up a little bit, doing about 7 15-minute miles. Otherwise I'm going to be late for my 11 o'clock appointment. My sister will kill me. So, functionalism. So functionalism, Durkheim was the founding father of functionalism, which meant that, what he believed was society was made up of interrelated parts or interconnected parts. Sorry about the sunshine here. And each institution kind of had a function within society. Talcott Parsons, a bit later on, kind of in the 1900s, American functionalists talked about the organic analogy where society was made up of human body, and things like family was the heart of society, education, some people say the brain, and they all kind of work together interconnectedly to make society function and prevent enemy or kind of chaos or normlessness inside. So unfortunately I had to come off the river just to save time, so I'm going a bit quicker on the road, on the side of the road pavement. Gonna have my second gel of the day, and I'm literally about halfway gonna pick that piece up. So just on the road now, the road, I'll put it up in the top left hand corner. Did about 7 15-minute miles now, pick the pace up, 7:26 miles, got about 5 miles left, so let's see. So about going up to 8 miles in, about 1:09, 1:10 by the time I get to 8 miles, 1 hour 10 that is. Absolutely loving this road. Feels like I'm back on Moyben Road in Kenya. Absolutely class, beautiful. Just say a little bit about Riding Mill, which is a small kind of village I'm coming through. Absolutely love it. Massive pub, tiny village, and there's a big hill coming up. Brilliant. Beautiful houses around here. So 80s classic danger zone. I'll put who by top left hand corner has come up. Kind of in the danger zone a little bit here because there's no path, there's no running path, so just need to be very wary of cars hopefully swerving around me like this one. Okay, so I'll be honest, time didn't permit finishing the full kind of 12 miles, so I've done almost 10 miles. I put the data up on here, and what I've done is found myself at the Bouchon, which is the only restaurant in Hexham, which is a French restaurant, And this is where we finish the journey about Emile Durkheim. So Emile Durkheim, during the First World War, he kind of, unfortunately, his kind of leftist ideology, so left-wing ideology, was kind of squashed and almost like extinguished by the French right at the time. And then finally, his son André was killed in battle, I think 1914, I'll put it up there, and he didn't recover. He was emotionally devastated from that, and in 1917, unfortunately, Durkheim died from a stroke, and he's born in Paris, in I think Montparnasse cemetery, which is very close to where I've been before. So this is the end of the story. Until later, Mr. Jones runs. Those who can, run.
Mr. Jones runs and running and running and running and